This is the 50th anniversary year of one of Dr. King's last and most famous speeches, the Other America speech. This is the 50th anniversary year of the Newark Rebellion, which was sparked 50 years ago in this city by law enforcement's abuse of a black cab driver, John Smith. And this is also the 150th year anniversary of the opening of New Jersey's largest youth prison, a Jamesburg Youth Prison. And our work really aligns closely to each of these anniversaries because I think that in this moment, we're presented both with a challenge and an opportunity. And part of the challenge is that notwithstanding many, many decades after these important anniversaries that sought to transform economic justice for local residents in their cities, that sought to reimagine how policing should look like in communities, that sought to bring about fairness in the criminal justice system, notwithstanding many, many years after those anniversaries, the challenges to realize those aims still persist. You can't have a conversation about social justice. You can't have a conversation about empowering urban residents and residents of color without having a meaningful conversation about economic justice. Newark, in many ways, is a modern-day embodiment of the two Americas that Dr. King talked about 50 years ago. Newark is at once a city where the majority of people employed here earn more than $40,000 a year. But it's also a city in which 30% of local residents and 33% of black residents live below the federal poverty line, and those are staggering numbers.
Bringing all of these ideas together and working with all of our partners, we're getting very close to the launch of Newark 2020, which aims to cut the gap in unemployment in half between the state of New Jersey and the city of Newark by connecting 2020 unemployed local residents with work by 2020. Part of the work for Newark 2020 is really creating the career pathways for people to those middle skill jobs that pay a living wage, that don't require a college degree, and that put people on a path to advance in their career. Newark 2020, it's about a jobs program, it's really much broader than that. It's really about creating equality of economic opportunity and enabling everyone to be able to realize the American dream.
Today, there are fewer than 300 young people who are incarcerated in the state of New Jersey. And what we know from the research is that kids of all races commit crime at the same rate. Notwithstanding that reality that all kids commit crime at the same rate, of the 300 kids who are incarcerated in New Jersey, 13 of those kids are white. 13. Our youth justice system has a decidedly different response to kids who are of color who are caught in the criminal justice system. So we're launching a campaign that seeks to close two of New Jersey's 3 youth prisons, Jamesburg Youth Prison and the female secure facility called Hayes. And this really is a campaign that seeks to close these failing youth prisons and reinvest those dollars in the creation of a community-based system of care.
We found that nationwide there are a number of best practices in terms of incarceration alternatives that keep kids within their communities, with their families, or if their families are unsafe, in other settings where they can still be in a community-based setting. Talking with the kids and the youth who have been impacted by prison, adult prison, or one of the youth prisons has been one of the most kind of devastating and heartbreaking things that I've experienced.
We are looking for secure facilities that are smaller, that are cottage-like, that have wraparound services, again, that are closer to home so that their families can come and visit them and participate in their rehabilitative process.
A teenager shouldn't have to think about, okay, I've been locked away for months, for years, and now I come out and my schooling's been disrupted. I can't get a job. I don't know how to support my family. They should be worried about teenage things, about young people things. And so I think that's what really impacts me, talking to them, seeing how these children have to grow up so quickly in terms of, based on circumstances that many times are outside of their controls.
Systemic inequality has been driven for decades, if not centuries, into the core of so many urban centers in this country and around the globe. It's up to all of us to roll up our sleeves and think about how to bridge those two Americas, how to think about racialized inequality in more collaborative and sophisticated but activist ways. And that's what the Institute does.
You know, in terms of our universities, so the Institute for Social Justice, all of the folks that are here in this city are basically have the right kind of synergy to move these projects and ideas forward into fruition. And so I believe this is like the opportune moment to make it happen.
As we think a lot here at the Institute for Social Justice, change in this moment will occur as it always, always, always has from the ground up in our communities. This moment really calls for us to organize ourselves around critical issues. How do we reimagine what youth justice should look like? How do we think about powerfully connecting local residents to work in their communities, in their regions? How do we build an inclusive democracy where all of our voices are heard? Those things will happen from the ground up in our communities, and those things we are able to do. Whatever the national moment is, we have the power now to join around an agenda that unites us and push these issues forward in a way that I think can help New Jersey serve as a standard bearer for racial and social justice.